It's time for your statewide Alabama Weathercast.
Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your afternoon State of Alabama forecast update. And things have settled down quite a bit in North Alabama compared to earlier this morning, where we had heavy rain and flash flood warning in effect, and 3 or 4 inches of rain in many spots, maybe a little bit more than that. But things have since settled down and just got a few lingering showers left over in parts of eastern Jackson County and also into DeKalb County as well. Maybe a few showers up northeast of Birmingham along the 59 corridor here, but most of the state still very dry and pretty hot out there at this point. Looking at the close-up of the radar here, we had some reports of over 4 inches of rain. This was a report of 4.3 inches of rain near Harvest in Madison County, and still have an aerial flood warning in effect for that area, just for some of the creeks that might still be pretty swollen from the rain earlier. And you can see the rain totals here. This is looking at radar estimates, and again, over 4 inches over a good portion of northwestern Madison County, places like Tony, Hazel Green, mostly northwest of Huntsville. Again, Harvest, Elkmont, northeastern Limestone County, as well as still within that aerial flood warning. So again, there's still probably some creeks and some ditches that are still pretty high. Hopefully most of the roads have started to see the water no longer on them anymore, but there was a good bit of water covered roads as well. You can see that looking at some of our Skywatcher video from Andrew Craddockville. He was on Tony Road here, and a good bit of good sheet of water was covering the road as he was driving along there. So this is one of those cases where generally we want to tell you to stay off the roads when you're under that flash flood warning because of those potential hazards. All right, things have certainly cleared out though, because Ardmore was one of those places earlier this morning that had heavy rain happening. Now you can see things have kind of cleared out there. Same thing for Huntsville. You've got some blue skies starting to show up now, even though you've got some high clouds in the area, but the temperature is at 72, so still fairly cool compared to what it would be if it hadn't been raining earlier. But the Montesano was socked in with clouds and fog there for a while after the rain had fallen, so that has now started to clear out with the rain starting to move out. Russellville as well had a few showers around, but now just some fairly nice looking skies there, blue skies with some scattered clouds, and it's warmed up now to 86 degrees as the rain ended there a good bit earlier than it did in places further to the east. As we move south, Mount Cheaha looking beautiful there, looking off in the distance. You can see it's 80 degrees there. Again, beautiful as it has continued to be there in recent times. As we move to the south in the Birmingham area and Hoover, again, it's dry, it's hot there. It's temperatures in around 89 degrees. Dew point not too bad, around 63 degrees. Moving further down towards the south, Dozier, it's 89 degrees there as well. And again, just some scattered clouds around and some sunshine. And then getting closer to the coast as we're looking across the bay here, Fairhope, we got a little bit of a breeze here looking at the flag there. It's 87 degrees and a little bit more moisture in place than we've seen recently, with dew point there around 74 degrees. So again, what we're watching for the rest of today and this week, not really expecting to see much more in the way of any sort of scattered showers and thunderstorms today. Northern part of the state still could see a few, and there's still a few on the radar now, but not expecting widespread showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. But as we get into tomorrow and on Thursday, showers and thunderstorms will be much more widespread, with a possibility of some strong storms, maybe some severe storms as well. And then as we get into the latter part of the weekend and the weekend, lower heat levels, and it'll be a pretty nice weekend setting up is what we're expecting at this point. Looking at our temperatures right now, we're in the places that haven't seen rain, we're getting into the upper 80s and lower 90s. It's 92 in Montgomery and Troy. It's already 94 degrees in Andalusia, but up where there has been a bunch of rainfall, it's 81 degrees in Huntsville, 84 in Coleman, 86 in Gadsden, those places a little bit closer to where that heavy rainfall fell, and we're getting influenced by some of the clouds and in the area. Forecast highs for tomorrow, we're expecting another hot day. Again, if you're not in that northern part of the state that'll see the potential for rain and thunderstorms earlier on in the day, you're still going to be pretty hot in the southern part of the state. Still expecting it to low to mid 90s in that part of the state, but further to the north will not get as hot as the storms will get going sooner in the afternoon. I mean, in some cases, possibly the morning as well. We'll talk about them more in a second. And looking at the kind of the satellite picture here, again, you can see that decaying little MCS that helped to bring the rain and thunderstorms to North Alabama this morning. Further back to the northwest, though, we got the low pressure there. We got the front moving in our direction. This is going to be the big system that will help produce our rain and thunderstorms for Wednesday and Thursday. But some of the thunderstorms that are forming in Arkansas at this point, some of the models are showing that moving down in our direction and potentially getting into northwestern Alabama early tomorrow morning. Not all the models are on board with that right now, but that is possible. If that were to happen, that's why you have this little sliver of a marginal severe weather outlook for today in just that northwestern sliver of Alabama, and that it would be, again, if some of those storms were to get here maybe late tonight before midnight, but it's most likely that if some of those get here, it will be more kind of a early tomorrow morning, 5, 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Again, we'll kind of look at some modeling for that here in a second. Here's the storm setup. Again, we're going to have this upper level system, this trough moving in overhead, and then we'll also have the front coming in at the surface, and that's going to give us this fairly large area in yellow here of potential for some strong and severe thunderstorms for Wednesday, and that's what we're expecting to see. And again, we'll see more of that on Thursday, although maybe not quite as big of a chance of seeing strong storms in the southern part of the state, although we still expect some for Thursday as well. For tomorrow, here's your severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. So the green is that marginal risk, level 1 out of 5, and you see places from Chatham, Thomasville, Selma, Clanton, Anniston, points to the northwest are in that marginal risk. And again, we expect mainly just the threats being the possibility for 60+ mile per hour winds, so severe level wind gusts are possible, although a fairly low threat with that. A medium threat, or maybe even more of that, for heavy rain. There will definitely be heavy rain in spots. Not sure if we'll see 4 or 5 inches in one spot like we've seen this morning, but there's possibility for that. And then there is a low chance of some small hail as well. And again, we don't even have it on this graphic, but isolated tornado, we can't totally rule that out, but we're not expecting that to be one of the threats with this. We're looking at just mainly those other ones at this point. Looking at your Futurecast again, as we put this into motion, the rest of the day today looks pretty calm. Might have a few passing showers and storms to the north of the state line. But again, as we get into tomorrow morning, this model is one of the models that is showing a pretty potent batch of showers and thunderstorms moving into the northwestern part of the state. So if that were to verify, we could see some fairly heavy rain in that part of the state early tomorrow morning. Again, not all the models are on board with this possibility yet, but those storms back in Arkansas, if they make it all the way here, we could see this as kind of a first round. And then the main opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms with the cold front as it approaches is going to be more in the afternoon. So you can see around 2 or 3 o'clock, and maybe even a little bit earlier than that could be when we start to see that main line move into the northwestern part of the state and starting to see a few isolated cells out in front of it in the central Alabama area. And then you see that push through, and as we get into the overnight period into Wednesday night into Thursday, things kind of settle down for a little bit before firing back up in the southern part of the state for Thursday afternoon. So again, kind of a couple of different rounds here, and Wednesday again the main show for the north, and Thursday kind of the main show for the southern part of the state. And you can see that looking at our severe weather outlook for Thursday, same marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 risk for sort of that southern half of the state for Thursday, with similar risk, mainly going to be possibility for some gusty winds, heavy rain, and maybe some small hail, but probably not a very big possibility in the southern part of the state. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. North Alabama looking at, again, maybe we'll get into the 80s in some spots, but low 80s most likely, probably outside of the places that are getting some sunshine or never had much rain earlier today. Not really huge chances of rain the rest of the day today, but bigger chances for sure as we get into tomorrow with the front starting to come through and lingering into Thursday as well. And then we see things dry out for the most part as we get in the weekend. The weekend looking pretty nice with the cooling trend, drier air mass in place. Looking pretty nice there. It'll be fairly cool in the mornings as well. And then as we look at South Alabama, again, the next couple of days before you get the rain chances really firmly entrenched, it's going to be pretty hot. Expecting mid-90s again both today and tomorrow. And then as the front starts to move through really more on Thursday and lingering into Friday, you'll see those temperatures come down, rain chances go up, and hopefully we'll get some beneficial rain for the entire state over the course of the next couple of days, and then have a pretty nice weekend in store after that. Well, that is your Alabama forecast update for now. We'll have another one coming up later on the Alabama Weather Network.